And welcome back to the Midday Show. I'm Jeff Everett. He's Mark Messina, and Mark is revved up about the Final Four.
Listen, I've told you all along that Gonzaga's not going to win, and I still don't think they are, but whatever. Here's the thing. I've heard, because they're undefeated, because they've gone undefeated, and people talking about that they are the best team in college basketball history. How's my volume? I didn't even check my volume level. Am I good? I'm right where I was last week. All right, I'm good. Here is the thing. Now people are talking about how they just played the greatest game in college basketball, and it was I loved it. But now, and fortunately, I've heard people back off of I haven't heard anything about they're the best team in college basketball history. And the reason for that is they just went to overtime, should have gone to double overtime, except they won on a miracle shot against an 11 seed. And then, like, an 11 seed. Like, the best team they've beaten since in 2021 is Creighton. Where is Creighton? Creighton, in the Big East final, Creighton lost to Georgetown by like 27. And who thinks Georgetown stinks? Jeff Everett does. So, like, who have they played? Like, if they were in the if they were in the Pac-12, we just saw. UCLA's not that good. People are like, oh, UCLA's hot. Well, of course they're hot. That's how you make the Final Four. You can't go like 2-2 in the tournament and get to the Final Four. So people are like, UCLA's good. I have news for you. UCLA lost their last 4 regular season games. Their last 4. 2 of them at home, 2 of them on the road. UCLA's not a great basketball team. They almost lost to Michigan State in the play-in game. Michigan State had a shot at the buzzer, didn't make it. They beat Michigan State in overtime, and this is the worst Michigan State team we've seen in 20 years. Gonzaga is good. I get that they're good. If they were in a real conference where they didn't play San Diego and St. Mary's and Pepperdine and Santa Clara and San Francisco, if they were in a real conference, there is no way they're undefeated. They've probably lost 2 or 3 times. And would they have a shot at the national championship? Sure. But would they be this immortal, this all-time great team? Oh, dear God. I mean, I don't know if you noticed this. They don't really guard people. And I know UCLA shot the lights out, but this is a pretty good team from the Pac-12, and they couldn't stop them. When they walk on the court tonight against Baylor, if they were a 3 seed, if they were a 4 seed, if people understood what they were and all this stuff, then I would be able to root for them more. And I appreciate what they do, and I like Mark Few seems like a good coach. He doesn't seem like a jerk. But when they walk on the floor tonight against Baylor, the team with the best athletes is not going to be Gonzaga. They're still 4.5-point favorites because people have bought into, well, they beat everybody they play by 15 points. That's because they play San Diego. And it's not even San Diego State. Like, they're playing the second best team in San Diego. Like, I don't understand this. They've got all these white guys, and people are like, oh, National Player of the Year. You know what Gonzaga does with white guys? They send them to the NBA, and they can't cut it. Ask Adam Morrison. Ask Dan Dickow. John Stockton made it, but that's when people knew Gonzaga was not good. If they were a 3 seed, I could root for them. If they were this belief that because you beat nobody all year, that makes you great, it's just not true. Here's the other thing. And this is one I actually respect Gonzaga because they know their conference sucks. That's why non-conference, they scheduled Kansas. They scheduled West Virginia. And they even scheduled Baylor. Now, Kansas got better, but this is not a good Kansas team. This is the worst Kansas team we've seen in a long time. They beat West Virginia by 5. That's their best win on the schedule. West Virginia is good. Are they immortal? No, I think they lost in the round of 32. But the West Virginia win matters. The Baylor game got canceled because of COVID. So, okay. But see, they even know their conference sucks, and that's why they schedule all these good teams in non-conference. But in 2021, the best team they've beaten is Creighton. That does not make you the best team in college basketball history. Now, do I think they're going to win tonight? They might, because Baylor played so well the other day that I don't think Baylor can bring this back 2 days in a row. But here's what Gonzaga's up against. Again, as people realize, wow, they just got pushed to the limit by an 11 seed. Maybe they're not as immortal as they think. If Baylor goes in tonight and beats them by 14, now they're frauds. And that's what I feel sorry for this Gonzaga team, because they're the best team in the country. They're the favorite. They're this. And we have seen, I know people right away think in a national championship game, there's no way they're going to get blown out. UNLV beat Duke by like 30 one year. UConn beat Georgia Tech by 30 one year. Like, do people think Gonzaga is going to get no, but if Gonzaga goes and loses by double figures tonight, everything that they've done is out the window because they haven't played anyone, and Baylor's for real. I'm done. Do you
feel better?
I feel better. And I hope they don't get blown out. I hope it's an exciting game. And I do respect and appreciate all that. The fact that they have built at Gonzaga is amazing. It's just the whole aspect that because they're undefeated, they are the best college basketball team in history. Oh dear God. Okay, now you can go.
Thank you. My over under on that was 6 minutes, and you just missed the over. So, I think they're a little undervalued. They have 3 professional basketball players on this team. I would argue Jalen Suggs might be the best player in the country. I know he's a freshman. I know, but a 6'5" point guard, he just kind of lets the game come to him. And whether or not he made that last shot, it really doesn't matter. They are really talented. They can go inside, outside. Offensively, it's when they're moving, it is like poetry. Like, there's not a lot of teams in the country that can do what they do. I get what you're saying, but I don't think this is coincidence. I think they're loaded. They are really good. Now, on the flip side, I have been telling you for 2 months, Baylor was my choice to win the whole thing. I think defensively, Baylor is fantastic. They're one of the best college defenses. Now, they've been giving up more points after they had the COVID spell and once they got into the tournament. But defensively, what Baylor's able to do, very few teams have I ever seen do that before. I'm picking Baylor tonight because I think defensively, and to give you a little bit of credit, I don't think Gonzaga has seen a defense like Baylor's. I'm curious to see. Now, with that said, Gonzaga has the offense to kind of stretch Baylor out. They have a guard that's going to be able to kind of force them to do some things they don't want to do. I'm picking Baylor tonight, but I think Gonzaga's loaded. I don't think it's an accident. I don't think it's because they haven't played anybody. They are loaded.
But they haven't played anyone. And when they go on the court tonight, the team with more God-given athleticism is Baylor.
Oh, 100%. This isn't hyperbole. Like, Baylor is the best college defensive team that I've ever watched. And I'm sure there were teams that were better before I was born and before I really got into it. But in my 15 years of watching college basketball, what Baylor's able to do defensively and their length and the way they switch and the way they force you to do things you don't want to do, I don't think this is going to be a game for the ages, but the idea of what Gonzaga does with their ball handling and their offensive execution against what Baylor does with their length and athleticism and their execution defensively, this is like a perfect matchup. You're going to get to see what's going to win out.
I think the flip side to me is Gonzaga on defense, because this UCLA team that is so unguardable and they have all these matchup problems, they won in the Elite Eight 51-49. Like, they scored 51 points in the game before this. And then against Gonzaga, they scored every time down the court. Who are the 3 pros? Suggs is great. Suggs is fantastic. Who are the other 2?
Suggs is going to be a top 5 pick. He might be playing his way into a top 3, top 2 pick. Kispert, the shooter, he's going to be a first-round pick. They're talking about him possibly going in the top 15. Like a Kyle Korver type, bigger, stronger than Korver, but shoots it the same way.
Can he guard anyone?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah.
When you spread the floor like that in the NBA, they're going to find a spot for you, like they are. Joe Harris is the fourth leading scorer for the Nets right now. The guy literally can't stay in front of you. Like, it doesn't
Well,
matter.
let's be honest, I have elite quickness.
And physically and mentally. And then the third.
I don't think Kispert can play in the league. I think he's in Europe.
Oh, he's in He's in the league for 12 years minimum.
He disappeared the other night. He
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's going to be a first-round pick. Doesn't matter.
Listen, so was Trajan Langdon. He couldn't play in the league either.
That's because he went to Duke.
There's lots of first-round picks who don't last.
That's because he went to Duke.
Adam Morrison was a first-round pick.
You just wanted to say Adam Morrison's name like 3 times today. So congratulations.
He's a perfect example.
And then the third guy is Timmy. Like, Timmy's going to be a professional basketball player. He's going to get drafted in the 2 rounds of the NBA draft. No, he's going to get drafted. It's going to happen.
Well, great. Can he play in the league?
Yes.
He's going to get drafted because they have to draft people. He's not going to make it in the NBA.
But this is the part you don't get, and then we have to spin the wheel. The part that you don't understand, Gonzaga runs a pro-style offense. It's handoffs and pick and rolls, and it's guys that can do multiple things, and they move their body, and everyone can dribble, and everyone can pass. These guys already play an NBA style. So the coaches in the organizations that are looking at these guys, they don't have to imagine like, oh, what would they look like? They're seeing it. And that's why they know Suggs and Kispert and Timmy and these other guys, they can play professional basketball. I'm telling you, they're more loaded than you think. I think they're still going to lose to Baylor because defensively Baylor is fantastic, but they're better than you are giving them any credit for.
This is what I think. I know they're good college players.
We just listened to you for 6 minutes. You don't think we know what you think?
I get one more rebuttal. I know they're good college players. They play in a pro system. In the end, all year, because they're playing Santa Clara and St. Mary's and San Francisco, they're playing against guys that are less talented than they are. In the NBA, every night, Kisberg's going to be guarded by a guy who is just as athletic as he is, maybe more so, and it's going to cause him problems. So with Timmy.
But you're wrong, because he's not going to be guarded by a guy who's more athletic than him or better. He's going to be guarded by a guy who's worried about the other 4 guys on the floor, and Kispert's just going to stand there and drill shots.
Maybe.
So even that, no, not maybe. It's right. Going to happen.
You may be right, and Adam Morrison's an assistant coach somewhere.
That's good to know. I'm happy he's doing well. Let's spin the wheel. Go ahead, Mark. Get us going.
All right, welcome. This is our last official day. Well, obviously, we are sponsored by Wise Markets. Now we're at the Wise Wheel as we're giving away prizes. But we want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings for helping us through March with March Madness, because even though we're in April, this is kind of the last day of it. So while you're feeding yourself tonight, if you're going to sit at home and feed, if you're trying to eat something after that doesn't have to do with Halloween or Easter candy, you can either go to Wild Wings or you go stock up at Wise Markets and enjoy the championship game. Now, what time does it tip? Are we at 9?
It's late. 8? It's too late. All I know is it's too late. It's too late.
Well, it's too late for us. The Gonzaga people appreciate it because they're on the West Coast and they can actually work a whole day and come home. But anyway, so join the Midday Show group on Facebook. We're here every day, and the computer will spit out a name, and you'll win a T-shirt, and we'll spin a wheel, and we've got some great sponsors. Again, we've got Wise gift cards all over it. We've got the Moon and Raven. We've got the Break Room. So we've got Eat and Run Diner. So we're adding more places every day, and Jeff is feeling it because this is like a big day for you. For you, you're a basketball nut. National Championship Day. This is, in a way, this is bigger than the Super Bowl for you.
It is bigger than the Super Bowl for me. Our random winner from the Midday Show Facebook group is maybe Charles Baker.
I saw it. I thought Barkley. Just for a second, I thought Charles Barkley.
It would be great. What if we just did put up Charles Barkley one day just to see?
By the way, they have so many good Capital One commercials. The best one ever was the one where he spun his hoodie around and was eating the snacks out of the hood. That was gold. That really was.
We should take a picture of that tonight and post it in the group for everyone to see. Charles
Baker.
Charles Baker with the Weiss gift card.
How much? I can't see.
$50
Weiss gift card for Charles Baker. Very nice. Very nice for Charles. Congratulations. The Wise Wheel, the Wise gift card. You can go blow $50 on. I wonder, can you buy like lotto tickets with that, or doesn't it work that way? You probably can't.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. I've never won the prize wheel to get my Weiss gift card, so I'm not sure if that's possible or not. Let's double back. let's double back real quick. An interesting story to touch on. An offensive lineman for the Oakland Raiders, and this actually isn't a sports story. He was accused of knocking out or well, I should say, he was fighting somebody. He actually ended up being the one on the floor. However, it wasn't actually him. So someone in Walmart released a video of a fight, and people said that it was Campbell, who was a former offensive lineman for the Raiders. And then 12 hours later, it came out from the Oakland Raiders and some other news sources online that it actually wasn't Campbell. And you and I discussed kind of a little bit like wrongly accusing somebody on social media and what's kind of the fallout of that. And what does that look like when you're someone who didn't actually do what you were just accused of online for 10 hours?
Well, in society, people have talked about, and we've seen stories about this and movies about this, that people get charged with something and they're like, even if you're acquitted, you can never, wash this off of you. There's always those allegations. Now in social media, it's not even like there's no police and investigation and grand jury. And, you can just be like, hey, look what this guy did. And he's like, it's not me. And
right.
So what is the fallout from this? We've talked about, you've joked, you just get rid of your social media. Can you not read it because there's so many horrible things said about you, even though it wasn't you? Is there a way that he parlays this? Is he now on with Jimmy Kimmel because he's now become a pseudo celebrity for being the innocent victim of this? But it's just crazy how because of social media, because of the good and bads of social media, you can be immediately vilified in a matter of hours, and it wasn't even him.
I told you, I think I would have deleted my social media because there was about a 10 to 12 hour span from when he was accused to when somebody actually stepped forward and said it wasn't him. There's a good chance that for 10 or 12 of those, you were sleeping, you weren't really. So there's a good chance that a lot of it he wasn't able to see yet. I really think I would just shut down the accounts and start over. Because I think once you see the vitriol and the hate that people probably spewed at him because they thought here's this huge offensive lineman picking a fight with a smaller guy at a random Walmart, I'm sure some of the stuff that he would have seen was just, I don't want to call it detrimental, but you can't unsee it. Even if you know the truth and the truth is originally put out there, I honestly think I would have just deleted the accounts. I don't know if it's worth being able to see what people thought of you at your quote unquote lowest moment, especially when you didn't do it. I just don't know how the phrase I used to use was, I don't think you ever get back to zero. Like, even though you're cleared and people come to defend you, like once you see what people say, it's a cruel world.
Yes, it is. You're right. Is it worth, there's some people who build off this. I've heard the stories from, Stuart Scott, the late great Stuart Scott, who was really, I don't know if he was the first black guy on ESPN, but he's the first guy who brought kind of like black lingo. He was the booyah. He was the and he had told stories about the hate mail. Apparently, you could call ESPN and ask for Stuart Scott, and they'd put you through to his voicemail. And just the racist hate mail that he would get because he brought ethnicity and urban culture to the broadcast of SportsCenter. And he saved them. And people will tell you around SportsCenter, he saved them. And he would listen to them periodically to remind himself what was out there and what he was dealing with. So, yeah, but I can see how you're like, when you read so many horrible things about you, to many of us, it would be permanently scarring. So, it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah, call me weak. I'd delete them. I don't think I'd open them up. A sad anniversary. Kurt Cobain, obviously with Nirvana, passed away on this day a while back. And Mark, you didn't know at the time who Kurt Cobain actually was, but the moment you found out that he was the lead singer in Nirvana, it kind of all clicked for you.
It was a funny time because it was in the early 90s and he was obviously the guy with grunge, him and Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. And I loved 80s hair metal. So at the beginning, I hated Nirvana. I didn't like Pearl Jam because they were killing my genre. And I remember when I was in college and they were like, Kurt Cobain died. And I didn't know who Kurt Cobain was. Then they said he's the lead singer of Nirvana. And then I knew. And this was one of those that I remember campus was at a hush. Like, I can't believe Kurt Cobain, and he killed himself. I know there's conspiracy theories that he was murdered, but there was gunshot wound. But he is one of the guys from the 27 Club that we talked about this briefly, and I didn't pull up the list, but you've got guys like, Hendrix was 27, Janis Joplin was 27, Amy Winehouse was 27. There are a couple really bad ages in Hollywood and music, and 27 and I know 33. There have been a lot of guys a lot of famous people that have died at 33 as well. But it's not 26, it's not 28, it's not. When you Google the 27 Club, it is bizarre. It's spooky how many people hit that age and I just couldn't get through. And I don't know why, but he did change rock music forever. He changed it.
Not to get too deep, 26, 27, 28, that to me, that's just a very coming to grips with reality age. And I wonder how much that has to play into it. Because once you're 26, 27, you're no longer viewed as a kid or a college student or someone that's trying to figure it out. And you start to kind of get a grip on not to bring it back up again, but how cruel the world can be and you're trying to balance that and you're trying to sort it out. And then on top of it, if you're a famous musician and everything else you're trying to handle, I would imagine that the age 27 can feel treacherous. I'm sure it can feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders at that point.
When you think, now that we're older, I'm 49 and I see 27 is so young still. And I know it's not. And for these people, when you talk about Hendrix and Joplin and Winehouse and Cobain, they'd had so much success and now they'd had so much money and they could kind of do whatever. But there almost has to be a point of what do I do next? How do I keep up with this? Because I've become immortal at such a young age. Where's my next Smells Like Teen Spirit? And for these artists, the pressure, you wonder what the overwhelming pressure was and how much of it is the pressure to duplicate your past success. And that has to be hard.
It has to be. We can wrap up sticking with some music. Unfortunately, this past weekend, for those of you who know DMX, the rapper, he had a heart attack. He is currently at the hospital. He's hooked up. He unfortunately has no brain activity. They're praying for him today, but it looks like it's not going to end well for DMX. You and I had talked about most people know at least one DMX song. I would argue most people have heard 2, 3, or 4. They just don't even realize they've heard it, whether it be at sporting events or different things like that.
Well, I'm that old white guy that I'm I knew DMX because he's I'm gonna make you lose up in here, I know that song and I knew that was DMX. Mm-hmm. And of course I tell you that and you're you know a lot more DMX than you know. So, right. But I get he just had a heart attack and they revived him, but just barely, and the brain activity. But this is horrible.
Yeah. Quick side story, and I'm assuming most people can relate to this. DMX was the first CD my mother ever threw out. I think we all have that first tape or that first DVD or that first CD or that first record that your parents hear it and they're like, "What is this? And why do you have it?" In the mornings, we would play music and on the boombox. And I had left the DMX CD in from the weekend. And so when my mom came in to hit play to turn on the music in the morning, instead of the typical CD, the DMX one started playing. And about 10 seconds in, my morning shifted really quickly. And that CD ended up in the garbage fast. So that's kind of my funny DMX memory. So obviously, I'm wishing him the best. But I obviously have some great DMX memories because of that.
Your mom must have just loved you more than mine, because my mom never threw out anything.
Oh, she heard that CD. That CD could not leave the house quick enough when my mom heard the first 10 seconds of DMX. So
the whole rock music just seemed like supposedly it had more satanic stuff. You had to play it backwards, and it was all more, some of the rap stuff is right there in your face, and you can't. Mom doesn't even have to be listening, and she can hear it. So. Mom
couldn't handle it. So we also have Marvel Studios and Disney Plus. They're just released the trailer for Loki, which is going viral right now. A sneaky little Disney Plus thing, and I don't know if I had mentioned this to you or not. They're actually putting out notifications now. They are upping the price by $1. next month. And I think that's where this is heading. Like, I think every year it's just going to be a little more expensive, a little more expensive, a little more expensive. Pretty smart on Disney Plus's point. But with the Marvel stuff and the things they're putting out, I don't see anybody getting rid of it. Like, I think it's a good strategy, like just to raise it every so often and just put a little notification on your platform. I think it's really, really smart by them.
Well, how many people are even going to notice? Like they're just paying. It's just, you get your bill, you write the bill, and you're just like, I don't know. So yeah, I think it's just going to become more and more, and they're going to be competing, because what's going to happen is after a while, people are really going to buckle down, and they're going to be like, which one? I have Disney Plus, I have Netflix, I have HBO Max, I have Amazon Prime. Like, which ones do we really use? Which ones do we don't? And they're just going to compete forever. But you would think this one's going to be big too.
No, it's
one more.
I think it's the smoothest strategy I've seen so far, as far as like upping the prices on these streaming services. A couple more. There were earthquakes in Los Angeles this morning, nothing over a 4.0, but there were multiple reported. And, Los Angeles is always one of those places. They always talk about there someday being like a mega earthquake in Los Angeles. Nothing like that this morning, but it just kind of like, when I was thinking about it, the first thing that came to my mind was the World Series in San Francisco. And I don't know, anytime I hear an earthquake in California, I just kind of, my brain goes to the worst possible circumstance, because you just hear about like it's due. Like, you just kind of hear like the big one is coming. So interesting story out of Los Angeles today. A couple of tremors, nothing over a 4.0, nothing big.
Do you think for a second that Dwayne Johnson can come in and save everyone?
The movie would say yes. Is there anybody Dwayne Johnson can't save?
Probably not. No, I would agree with that.
This is your guy right here. I don't even know his name, but apparently women are going nuts because he's leaving Bridgerton.
Listen, first of all, he's not my guy. I have been told that as I hear women talking about Bridgerton, first of all, it just doesn't sound good. And then I was like, so what? Tell me about this. And I was told, you will think it is slow and boring. But women love it. Women love him. I don't even know his name. All I know is if your wife or girlfriend sobbed through the weekend and wouldn't tell you why, for once, it probably wasn't your fault. It's because it was announced that this dude's leaving. Now, apparently in the book,
this guy right here,
Jeff, wherever Jeff is, wherever. Apparently, this in the book, like, this is what happens. His character's there and he's gone, and so they're like, well, if you read the book, you knew it was coming. But yes, this is. I have not heard of one guy who watched this and liked it, and I have not heard one woman who've talked about it and said, "Yeah, I watched it. It was okay." They're like, he's dreamy, and so there is going to be a massive depression around the world from females because this guy is gone, I guess.
All right, maybe now I don't want to check it out after you said that. My girlfriend was going to make me watch it. Now I'm not sure. And then last but not least, you were kind of thrilled about a Miley Cyrus performance during the Final Four.
Well, I wasn't thrilled. I think this is a brilliant idea, and we'd even discussed, should we do this for a whole topic? Between games yesterday, they had a little concert. And I think it was because they needed, they're playing in the same, their teams are sharing the same locker rooms because the Final Four is the same place. So I think they needed to sanitize everything and clean everything. And they were like, well, instead of just going to nothing, we'll go to some. But I think this is the next big thing. The Super Bowl halftime is limited because it's only halftime. And they even expand it, but they come out and play for 10 or 12 or 15 minutes. Between games of the Final Four, you could go for an hour if you wanted to. You could do whatever you want. So I think this is going to be the next big thing, and it's indoors. We don't have to worry about, weather, like Prince had to play through a monsoon. You don't have to worry about any of it. And you can make it, hey, you can have a 45-minute set. You can have a 30-minute set. You can do whatever. They can obviously have multiple people on and jam. This could be the next big thing between games of the Final Four on a Saturday night. I didn't even know Miley Cyrus was playing until I just flipped the channels and I wanted to see pregame, and all of a sudden there she is singing away. So I think this could be the next big thing. It could be like Super Bowl light, or as it turns out, it could be even better because you could have multiple bands that are going back and forth, and this could turn out to be something really special.
I agree with you. I think the fact that it was Miley Cyrus probably made you a little more positive about it.
Like, I'm not a huge Miley Cyrus fan, but I have her latest album and it's good. Miley's she's the female Justin Bieber. She is she's much maligned, and her talent is not given nearly the credit. The chick can sing. If you go Google, she does covers of stuff. She does Stevie Nicks. I saw her would she do Temple of the Dog, or like, she can really sing.
Yeah. For me, like, once you're on that Disney train, and I had said this to you earlier, like, once you're on the Disney train, you have to like proactively try to mess up. Like, if you have some talent and you jump on the Disney train, like, it's hard to like not succeed.
Well, I think she got stuck in the Bieber. Like, when we talked about Bieber last week, when he went to #1 or whatever he did, and I said he got all the tattoos because he wanted to break out of this cute little mold. I think that's why Miley did a lot of the crazy stuff she did, naked in the Wrecking Ball video and stuff like that, because she wanted to break out of the Hannah Montana mold. And we all want to grow up too fast. Even us normal schmucks who have nothing in our past, we have no fame and no. But when you're Hannah Montana, I can understand why she wanted to do. I don't know. She can act a little bit. She was a guest star on 2.5 Men a few times, to go even older than when she was Hannah Montana. And I really she doesn't have the traditional female voice. She's more raspy but I think she's really, really talented. But that's not why I think they're on to something. I think you're going to see 45-minute concerts between games of the Final Four, and I think it's going to be a big deal.
No, I hope so. I would definitely enjoy it. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Midday Show again. Hit a ton of topics today. Thank you for putting up with Mark's rant on Gonzaga. Go Zags. We're looking forward. Thanks to Weiss Markets again. Thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings for helping us out through the month of March. And again, be sure to keep coming back to check out the prize wheel and all of our other sponsors. And thank you again to NorthcentralPa.com for letting us do this. I'm Jeff Everett. He's Mark Messina. Thanks for tuning in to the Midday Show.
And I don't hate Gonzaga. They're just not the best team ever. Sorry.